All right, hey everyone, welcome into another episode of the Spoiler Alert podcast. The Thanksgiving episode, the turkey episode, whatever you want to call it. Technically the day after Thanksgiving, but celebrate whenever you want. That's how I feel.
Yeah, Black Friday, if you will.
Yeah, that's the day. Some people call it that. I had my Thanksgiving last week, so I'm kind of Thanksgiving out. All the family came down to Texas, and then everyone left. And I came back home and I'm like, you know what? No more turkey. I'm out. I'm done with it.
I ate so much yesterday that I could hardly even drink beer. So,
oh man, that's a problem.
Very much so.
So Ty, this is the Thanksgiving episode. Couple of movies, one directly related to Thanksgiving. The other two, not so much. One is just straight up called Thanksgiving. We talked about how we were going to see that. You did see it. Another one called The Hunger Games, which sounds like Thanksgiving. You can call it The Hunger Games. Everyone's always hungry, eating all the food, like you just said.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And then I'll be doing a Convince Me to See for Leo, Adam Sandler's newest animated film, which is not related to Thanksgiving at all, but it is kind of heartwarming, like the holiday is supposed to be if your family's not consistently fighting.
And it's available on Netflix right now.
Easy enough to watch. So let's hop right into it for the upcoming movies of the week. The big one that Ty ducked out on today, thought about seeing it, ended up not seeing it, is Joaquin Phoenix's and Ridley Scott's Napoleon. So far, since we are a day ahead from when it came out, the reviews so far are kind of meh.
Yeah.
So, Ty, don't blame me for not, diving into almost 3 hours worth of Joaquin trying to play Napoleon with zero accent.
Yeah, that was throwing me off too. Like, Napoleon's known for, being a French guy, and he just sounds like regular old Joaquin Phoenix.
Great. And I don't even, I don't even know what Napoleon actually looks like. I don't know if they just picked Joaquin because maybe he looks like him. I know the only thing I've known about him, and I think it was also greatly exaggerated, was how short he was.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that before. I saw that Ridley Scott picked him because he put a little paper hat on a picture of Joaquin Phoenix and said, "God damn it, that's it," or something along those lines.
Guy.
That's him.
Wow, amazing. So how tall is Joaquin? Now I got to know. He's 5'8". A little on the shorter side. He's still an inch taller than me, but whatever.
Makes me good to know. It makes me happy that I'm taller than Joaquin Phoenix. So that's cool.
And you wouldn't think he looks like a big dude.
He does. They must prop him up pretty well in movies and make him look like he's a bigger guy.
Because Johnny Cash was a big guy, right? So
that's what I was thinking. I'm taller than Johnny Cash.
Yeah. And Commodius from Gladiator.
Mm-hmm.
Which is... I forgot that was his name. Commodious. That's not a great name. That ties back in with Ridley Scott. So obviously Napoleon is going to be about Napoleon Bonaparte, an epic that details the checkered rise and fall of French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte and his relentless journey to power through the prism of his addictive, volatile relationship with his wife, Josephine. Okay, a little different than I thought it was going to be because I gotta tell you, I don't think I care at all about his relationship with his wife.
Right, and I've heard that there's too much emphasis on the relationship with his wife. If I'm gonna go see this movie, which I don't know if I'm gonna now, I've been wrestling with it if I want to go or not, but I want to go see war, drama, action.
Yeah.
I'm not even a big period guy, but I'll go watch this one because it's, Ridley Scott, Joaquin Phoenix, but I could give a shit less about Napoleon's relationship with his wife, Josephine.
Yeah, that sounds just completely boring and not what I would expect from such a movie. I was thinking kind of like Mel Gibson's The Patriot, just kind of like that harsh war, because everyone just lined up directly across from each other for battle back then, which is wild. So that's what I was expecting. But man, directly in the synopsis, it tells you, no, that's not what we're doing. We're going to make it boring. All right. And really, I put it up here, but he's had a lot of misses lately.
Yeah, he kind of has. House
of Gucci, I didn't even bother seeing. I don't think I could stand to see anyone in that movie fake an Italian accent.
I did watch that one. It was pretty,
pretty bad.
Okay, yeah.
Especially Lady Gaga. Can we stop putting her in things?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get these two. We're gonna get Lady Gaga and Joaquin and Joker too.
Exactly. And I honestly have no idea how to feel about it. Like, putting her in it, she feels like someone who would live in Gotham because she's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't like her acting at all. And like, I think I've said it about a lot of musicians turned actors, and it just never feels like it works.
Yeah, it's always hit or miss for sure. I think ever since Stars Born, they've put her in stuff thinking she's gonna like knock it out of the park again, and it's all just been pretty much meh. Although she might have gotten nominated for House of Gucci, I can't remember, but still.
I think she did. That actually does ring a bell, but
yeah,
you know, how much stock can you really put into that?
Yeah.
The other misses he had, The Last Duel, it wasn't horrible. Have you seen that one?
That was one I didn't watch either.
It was okay, but again, I think Ridley Scott, I think Alien, I think Gladiator, and those are two pretty damn great movies, and it just has not been there. All the Money in the World was another one I didn't watch, based on a true story about some rich dude's son. I think son or daughter gets like held for ransom. And then you know, going back to Alien, I was not big on Alien Covenant.
I didn't mind it. I watched that one. I think I even had it on Blu-ray. I still might. I don't know, but that was one I didn't mind. But yeah, I didn't see All the Money in the World either. But you're definitely right. Ridley Scott doesn't seem to have been like really hitting it out of the park lately. Might be time to hang it up.
Yeah, and when he's doing a sequel for Gladiator that doesn't make any sense, that's where I'm even more worried.
Yeah, definitely.
Next movie here, Wish, a Disney animated film. Wish will follow a young girl named Asha who wishes on a star and gets a more direct answer than she bargained for when a trouble-making star comes down from the sky to join her. Yeah. So a lot of the notes I have here for this movie was before it came out and was getting the reception it's not great. I think it's currently at like 5.8, I believe was what it was the last time I saw it. And it just continues to decrease.
That's crazy. You know, these Disney movies don't really get like panned like this one kind of is.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of expectation, and I didn't know this, but I was reading it in quite a few reviews that this was to mark Disney's 100th anniversary.
Ooh,
and so people were expecting big things. So, frozen Walt Disney rolling over in his, well, I guess it's not a grave. What the hell's he in? Cryotube, something like that.
He's somewhere under Disney World.
Yeah, it's so creepy.
I
wait for him to rise up.
Yeah, I did see people saying the animation this was like kind of off or something, and they're kind of right. Like, I can't tell if it's like they look 3D, but it's 2D in the back. It's like throwing me off. I think they might have been trying to go like the Spider-Verse route with it, but it just doesn't look the same.
There's some good like animes that do like, I think a lot of people call it like the 2.5D.
Yeah. Where
the foreground is 3D and the background's 2D, but this just looks off.
Yeah, something doesn't look right. I agree.
And some other reasons why I thought this had a shot was it includes Chris Buck directing, who he also directed both the Frozen movies, Surf's Up and Tarzan, the good Tarzan from the 90s when we saw it. And Jennifer Lee, who also worked with him on those films, as the writer, she wrote Frozen 1 and 2. She wrote Wreck-It Ralph and Zootopia. So, you know, all the furries can thank her for that one. But yeah, so like had a lot of potential. And then Ariana DeBose, she was also in West Side Story. We just talked about someone else who was in the newer West Side Story, which I quit that one about half the way through. It was just too much for me. I don't mind musicals at all. I've gone and seen many. I've seen the original West Side Story, but this just it was just not there for me. She was also in Hamilton, so obviously she's a very talented singer, performer, but voice actor, that's not something people can just pick up.
Yeah, no, it takes skill.
Chris Pine also in this one, and then someone who does have skill at voice acting is Alan Tudyk, one of the best English voice actors I I have seen. He's in so many different movies. And probably my favorite role is he's Steve the Pirate in Dodgeball.
He's English. He's just American, right? He's not English, right?
Yes, I guess I meant English speaking.
Okay, I was gonna say, because I thought he was American. That's cool. Like, he pulls it off well then. So I was like, oh my gosh, is this dude British? And I never knew.
No, El Paso, Texas.
Okay, he's as American as they come.
Yeah, it's on the border, so. But no, he's in everything. He has so many voices. He's Sonny in iRobot. He was K2SO in Rogue One. The best part in that movie. Chicken in Moana, like something super random that didn't actually talk. He just made noises. But yeah, he's fantastic. He's in. If you go in on his IMDb, he is just a laundry list of different animated films he's in.
Okay.
But yep, sadly, took it off my watch list. I don't think this is one to see, Ty.
Yeah, me either. Yep, definitely gonna skip it.
Final one here, kind of a short list of movies here. Maybe it is because of Thanksgiving, and they don't think many people are going to go out to the movies if they're traveling, visiting family, etc. But the final one here is Dream Scenario. A hapless family man finds his life turned upside down when millions of strangers suddenly start seeing him in their dreams. When his nighttime appearances take a nightmarish turn, Paul is forced to navigate his newfound stardom. So, if you were picturing someone to play this guy, it would be Nick Cage, and that's who it is.
That's so funny because people probably do see Nick Cage in their dreams.
Yeah, just smiling all creepy like, stealing the Declaration of Independence.
This sounds actually awesome. Like, I saw it, but I didn't really look too much into it. This is a really kind of like original premise, and it's A24.
Exactly. And this is one of the few trailers I saw in theaters. It came out with Saw X was when I saw it. And I have a note here. This feels like it could be a sleeper, something that jumps out and ends up pretty high on our list.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm going to look and see if I can find any showtimes for it. Yeah, it's one that I would like to see.
I'll also say while you're looking that up, the writer and director is Norwegian Christopher Borgli. I looked at his films. I don't know a single thing he has done. So yet again, it's just A24 kind of like throwing money at people and hoping for the best. And it's worked out for them because they make some super unique films and they're willing to take risks on some weird shit.
Mm-hmm. I'm not seeing any showtimes around me. Let's see.
Oh man.
Thursday, November 30th is whenever my showing start for whatever reason.
Interesting. I also have limited release down here.
Yeah, I'm seeing some. Okay, so there are some next week. I'd have to go to about Greensburg or so. If I could pair this, go straight from this into Godzilla -1 next week, I'd make it happen. I would do that in a heartbeat. So I'm going to try to make that happen. But hell yeah.
But that is it for upcoming movies this week. Ty, I see we got some movie news.
We do have a good bit of news. So first off, this is stuff that came out just this week, just like within the last couple of days. Scream 7 is starting to sound like a shit show. So now Jenna Ortega has dropped out of Scream 7 due to her Wednesday Season 2 shooting schedule, apparently. So news of her exit comes one day after her co-star, Melissa Barrera, was fired from the horror movie due to her social media posts about Israel and Palestine. Ortega's departure was apparently not influenced by Barrera's firing and was in the works months ago before the SAG-AFTRA strike even began. And Scream 7 was announced earlier this year with director Christopher Landon. But after Barrera's firing, Landon posted and deleted a statement on Twitter X, if you will, on Tuesday that read, "Everything sucks. Stop yelling. This was not my decision to make." So it sounds like it definitely wasn't in the director's hands. He probably wanted to keep both of them in this movie because they probably were the best part of these new Scream movies. And Scream 6 was one of the better and more enjoyable movies this year, especially like as far as horror goes. So I'm sure they're going to try to bring back like Neve Campbell or something. But after they kind of fucked her over with her pay that she wanted and they refused to increase, she's got all the leverage in the world now to come back. Because without her and without these two, the franchise is just going to be dead again. I definitely don't want to see the next one if neither of those three are in it. because I can only imagine how annoying it would be if those siblings, Mindy and Chad, are the main characters in the next one. fan backlash for this is going to be crazy, but yeah, if it was the Chad and Mindy story, I would kill myself.
Yeah, it just sounds like a CW high school drama.
You couldn't pay me to see that, so that just sucks. Scream 6 was good. Scream 7, we were looking forward to that one. Stupid, just stupid, all around stupid. Scream 6 was at the top of our rankings for quite a while, until like April, maybe. Yeah.
That's when it got kicked out. Where's it sitting now? I'm trying to see. We've seen quite a bit since then. Scream 6, well, it has dropped quite a bit. It is currently tied for 34.
I mean, still, though, we've seen a lot of movies this year. It's not
We've
terrible.
seen a ton of movies, yeah.
So next on the list here, we have Christopher Nolan on his Bond movie rumors. So in a new interview, Christopher Nolan addressed if there was any truth to the rumors he would direct the next Bond film, and sadly, no. He said, no, sadly, no truth to those rumors, but he's very thrilled the strike is over and we can all get back to work, he said. So still not sure what his next movie's going to be, but he did mention that it's going to be something not quite as bleak as Oppenheimer. I mean, Oppenheimer is pretty much as bleak as it can get. Just the atomic bomb, all that. We know how good Oppenheimer was. So, I mean, I can only imagine how excited he is to make his next movie after how well Oppenheimer's doing. Yeah. Definitely going to clean up at the Oscars. The hype for his next movie is going to be through the roof. Next up here, we got a big change. Well, not a huge change, but a change at Lucasfilm and Star Wars. So, Dave Filoni is now the chief creative officer at Lucasfilm. And Dave Filoni is he's pretty much like the guy that just loves Star Wars. He's the nerd that kind of ended up, now becoming in charge of it. So he's going to be planning the future of the Star Wars films and shows, and he's overseeing Star Wars: The Clone Wars, Rebels, The Mandalorian, and Ahsoka. And as far as I haven't really seen Ahsoka, but or the other two actually, only The Mandalorian. But as far as all those go, I think those are the ones that are most liked by fans. I think he has the best grip on what fans want to see in the Star Wars universe. But he was already an executive producer on all the live-action Star Wars shows on Disney+, and he had been set to direct a film that was going to weave everything together out of all those storylines, but who knows how they're going to do that now, if that'll happen with Disney cutting costs and all that stuff. But now he's going to take on a more involved role with the future of Star Wars. It does say that the franchise is slowly planning a grand return to the big screen, and until then, up next is Skeleton Crew, which is, I think, a show, a coming-of-age story. Doesn't say much about that. I think we did talk about that before. And then another one called The Acolyte, which is a thriller set in the distant past. And then Season 2 of Andor, which I have heard Andor is good, but Rogue One was pretty good too. But we know how everything ends because in Rogue One, I mean, they all just die. Spoiler alert. So there's no use getting invested into that show whenever we all know that they're dead.
I like that there's a spoiler alert for... The spoiler came out during the first Star Wars in 1970, so
yeah, exactly.
It's 50 years later.
Yeah. So yeah, apparently... Oh wait, this was... Speaking of Star Wars though, Daisy Ridley says her next Star Wars film is not what she expected. She's going to star as Rey, and it's going to be set obviously after The Rise of Skywalker as she builds a new Jedi Order. So who knows how good that's going to be. I mean, truthfully, I've been out on Star Wars for a while now. After The Rise of Skywalker, I did watch the first maybe 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. I haven't watched the new one. Didn't watch any of Ahsoka, all that. Kind of been out on Star Wars lately, but
Same.
I want to see new Star Wars movies because it's Star Wars. Everybody wants to see that, but they got to be good. It's kind of like Marvel now in that it's starting to become too much of it,
100%. And I think a lot of the reasons we want to see these movies is just because of how massive their budgets are, and to see what they can do with them, because they always look super impressive. Yeah, and it's just the writing is always kind of poo-poo.
Yeah, up until Disney Plus came out, all we had was the mainline movies. That was it. I mean, there was those animated shows, but other than those two, and then the movies, it was kind of just books and Star Wars lore through that. So people are kind of willing to wait around to see if there's going to be another good movie coming from Star Wars, but I don't know. I haven't been impressed lately with anything. but maybe that's just me being cynical. I don't know.
No, I'm right there with you. I wanted to leave the Last Jedi. I absolutely hated it. It made me feel stupid just sitting there watching it, and I felt more stupid when everyone clapped at the end. I was just upset and angry that people found that acceptable.
It's cringy whenever people clap for a movie that doesn't deserve to be clapped at. There's nothing more cringe. That's like clapping when a plane lands.
I'm not going to clap for Oppenheimer. I just think it's all cringy. Like,
except what nobody can hear you clapping besides yourselves. Yeah.
You clapping for the camera operator up there? I don't.
Who's really just a teenager pushing a button?
Yeah, and he has his AirPods in. He's not paying attention to any of you.
Yeah.
Taking a step back though to Dave Filoni, he's from Mount Lebanon.
Oh, I think I might have heard that before, but it still blows my mind every time.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
He went to Edinburgh.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
look at him now.
Yeah, blowing up. Who would have thought someone that went to Edinburgh could go so far?
Got him. Oh my. Jumping off of that though, we have a little bit of information on M. Night Shyamalan's newest psychological thriller. It's going to be starring Josh Hartnett. He most recently played Ernest Lawrence in Oppenheimer. He used to be in a bunch of stuff and then I don't know if he took a break from acting or just wasn't in a lot of stuff, but now he's making a resurgence. But the movie's currently filming in Canada, and they're keeping things pretty quiet about it. The film is described by Shyamalan as a psychological thriller set at a concert. Originally, the movie was known as Trap. But now it's going under the codename Good Grades. I really hope that's not the final title of the movie. That's a terrible title.
What would it be called that?
Yeah, he's yet to direct the actual title, but as for right now, codename Good Grades. So that sounds terrible. But Shyamalan is putting a lot into this film. He's not only the director, but he's producing as well. And he's opted to fund the project himself after procuring an agreement from SAG-AFTRA to film the project during the strike. So I didn't know that was filming during the strike, so that's kind of cool. Apparently, it's about a father heading to a musical concert with his son. However, things quickly go awry as Josh Hartnett gets caught up in a psychological event that will take him for a ride. Also,
it's just going to be a dude tripping on acid.
Probably.
And that's going to be the big reveal at the end. He's like, I was high the whole time.
So get this, singer-songwriter Seleka, I hope I'm saying it right, Seleka, Shyamalan, M. Night Shyamalan. I can only say his last name whenever I say M. Night before it. Trying to say Shyamalan, but it's so tough whenever you don't say M. Night first. Is going to play opposite Hartnett as the artist whose concert that his character attends with his son. So I'm assuming that's his daughter?
Let's find out. Parents, children. Yes. Yep.
Shyamalan. It's so weird to say without M. Night first. I never just say Shyamalan.
Oh, she's done the music for his other thing. So she did the music for Old and the music for his TV series Servant.
Oh, I never really looked into that TV series. I think we might have mentioned it though.
I think it was one that started off good and now it fell off. Like
typical M. Night movies. Not
yeah,
surprised.
Rupert Grint and that old Ron Weasley, which is kind of fun.
Yeah. Let's see what else here. A couple more things. A new Bourne movie's in the works. So Universal's developing a new take on the action franchise with the All Quiet on the Western Front director Edward Berger leading the charge. So that's cool. Loved that movie, as we all know. It's in the early stages of development. It's not sure if Matt Damon is going to be involved yet or not. And there's no script or no star commitments at this point. But if he comes back, that would be huge. That'd be very big if he returns as Jason Bourne. With a good director, that'd be awesome.
What was the last thing he was in? Feels like it's been a minute.
Damon? He was in Oppenheimer.
He was?
Yeah.
Why the fuck don't I remember him?
He was like the general.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Thank you. Jesus. That's right. Man, I completely forgot about his character in that.
Yeah, he was kind of just there.
I just watched a real old movie with him in it. Dogma. Have you seen that one?
No,
So Dogma, you know Kevin Smith.
I was going to say it's a Kevin Smith movie, right?
It's Kevin Smith movie, exactly. And he's like best friends with him and Ben Affleck somehow. And so he's in that. It's pretty good. I think like 99 or 97 that came out.
Oh, wow.
But fun little comedy.
Nice. I never watched that one. I know there's a couple Kevin Smith movies I've never seen.
There's a lot you probably shouldn't see.
Yeah.
There's some pretty fucking stupid.
Everybody loves stroking him off, but he's okay. He's a cool guy, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. I think
doesn't mean all his movies are great.
In the comic book world and, all he's done for them, but, maybe don't direct anything ever again.
Just a couple more quick things here. A movie we both like, The Gentleman. I think you like The Gentleman, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, a Guy Ritchie banger. We're getting a Gentleman series coming to Netflix, so it's going to be loosely based on Ritchie's 2019 movie starring Matthew McConaughey. The original cast is not set to return, though, for the show. But the show is about an aristocrat who inherits his estranged family's estate, only to discover it's home to Europe's largest weed farm. So that's pretty much that's on par with the first one. It was about a weed farm too, or something like that. Ritchie created and co-wrote and executive produces, so he's got his hand in it, and that makes me happy. I'm looking forward to this one. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, I'm looking at. I don't know anyone that's currently listed to act in this.
I know that we know one guy. It's going to be Giancarlo Esposito. I know he's one of the ones that's going to be in it, I think.
Gotcha. He must be down the line. John. Why the fuck am I not seeing him? Either way, I'm realizing I'm just not recognizing names because there's Scott Ilario, who was in the Maze Runner movies and Crawl with the gator.
Mm-hmm.
And then Theo James was in the Divergent series. He's just getting all these old teenage heartthrob actors.
Yeah.
And then Daniel Ings, who was just in the Marvels, as Tyrone.
Who the hell?
I don't know if you know who that is, but
I don't even know who Tyrone is. I saw that movie.
Yeah, it's Ty-Rone, R-O-N-E.
Okay.
But cool. Yeah, no, that sounds good to me. I'm all about obviously Guy Ritchie.
Hell yeah, he's the best. I love The Covenant. One of my sneaky favorite films of the year. I think that's going to come up on potentially an end of the year list for me. One more thing about Netflix here. Black Mirror got renewed for season 7. Obviously, nothing's known yet. It just got announced, but I feel like the 6th season was good, but wasn't there like 3 episodes? There was like not that many episodes.
Yeah, it was like just the one with Aaron Paul.
Yeah, Josh Hartnett was in that too.
2 others I don't remember.
Yeah, that was really good. Like, they could all honestly be like movies. Like that one where Aaron Paul was in. I would have watched that for another hour. Yeah. They do good at wrapping up those short stories, though, so that was cool. There was also the one with like the demon that was like a... Never mind. One more thing. We're getting a new Karate Kid movie with Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio, and my only take on this is why the hell won't they let this franchise die?
Hold up. That's super confusing because Ralph Macchio was obviously the original Karate Kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jackie Chan came in and played...
he did the one with Jaden Smith, right?
With Jaden Smith, but he played... Was he not Mr. Miyagi?
I have no idea.
Are they just going to pretend this dude's Mr. Miyagi? Because in the Cobra Kai TV show, Mr. Miyagi is dead. So what are they doing?
I don't know. That's what I'm like. When did everybody start caring about the Karate Kid so much that it got spin-off shows and extra movies? All this stuff. It's like, come on now, just let it die. Apparently there's like a big casting search for who's going to be the Karate Kid as well. So there you go. It could be you if you're listening out there and you're a kid. Probably not, but
that is the weirdest thing. What are they going to do? Because one of them can't be their original character. They cannot both be the original character. It will not happen. Yeah,
it's not like you can't pull a Marvel and start doing alternate timelines here. It's pretty based in reality.
God damn it. Okay. That's fine.
That's the end of the news, though. So just some stuff here and there. Nothing crazy, but...
okay. He was not Mr. Miyagi.
Was he like Mr. Miyagi's son or a student of Mr. Miyagi? Or
not a clue. He's just called Mr. Han.
Okay, they just took the C off his last name. Nice.
Yeah. All right. What do you want your name to be? And he actually said Chan, but someone couldn't pronounce it. Jesus.
They just misspelled it on the sheet, and they're like, okay, Mr. Han. He's like, it's Chan.
Like, no, not
Like,
anymore.
no, it's not for this. It's not.
Not anymore. You're not. Any. Yeah, they really are continuing to go with these Karate Kid movie spin-off. I enjoyed the first season of Cobra Kai, and admittedly, I still watch them all. But I enjoyed the first one because I was not a Karate Kid person. I wasn't alive in the 80s.
Right.
So it was just kind of like fun getting the recap of this, and it was a unique story. You know, it's the side of the quote unquote villain from the movie, and I would watch it with my mom, who was obviously alive in the 80s. So like, I didn't. But then they just kept going.
This might come as a shock, being as we have a movie podcast, but I've never seen the Karate Kid or any of it. Never really been interested.
Yeah.
Never saw the original. Never saw the spin-offs with Jaden Smith. Those hit right after I wouldn't have given a shit. And then Cobra Kai, I was like, well, there's no use watching this. I never saw the first one, so never really was a Karate Kid guy. But
yeah,
you know, I appreciate the Karate Kid, I guess.
It's definitely a historic movie with how popular it was. You know, pop culture, everyone knows it, even if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And then Cobra Kai, I saw that first, then watched the original Karate Kid. It was okay, but I think Family Guy made fun of it best, where they were like, I don't remember the bit, but they were watching TV and they're like, now back to the Karate Kid in a real high school, and then it's like Ralph Macchio and the bully like, I'll see you at the tournament. I'll kick your butt there. Not if I kick your butt first. And then like this kid comes over and is like, you guys are fucking nerds. Yeah, it's like, that's exactly what it is. If you know, you're just, no one was cool and did karate back then. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's like now it's kind of a thing because of MMA, and karate back then was kind of like you're a dork.
If you see a guy with a gi on and a black belt in today's world and you mess with them, you're pretty much just a dumbass. But back in the day, there a lot of fakes probably going about because of the Karate Kid.
Yeah, for sure.
Frauds.
Oh man,
that's the end of news though. That's fun. Good times.
Gotcha. All right, so I'll give you a break here, Ty. Let your voice recover because you're gonna have two convince me to seize. I only got the one. So I'll let you recover here a bit. But my convince me to see is for Leo, Adam Sandler's newest movie, animated film. You know, I saw this trailer, I cracked up just because I love his voice.
Me too. It was so funny.
Stupid.
I clipped it and sent it to my cousin. There was a timestamp. It's like 1:58 or something like that in the trailer. The noise that he makes is like, I can't even describe the noise. It was so funny though. It's just Sandler making a Sandler noise, and
is it the one when he gets scared?
Yeah, he's like,
yeah, he does that throughout the movie. I laughed every time. So obviously Adam Sandler's in it. He's obviously the main character, but I did not know going into this Bill Burr is also in this.
Yeah, I thought about that right towards the end of the trailer. I was like, that sounds like Bill Burr, and then it was Bill Burr.
It's him. He plays the turtle. That's his buddy in the classroom. They sit in the tank. So essentially the story is Leo is an old lizard, and he hears that lizards die at 75. He is 74. And so he's like, I've never done anything with my life. I've just sat in this classroom at 70. So his plan is to escape, and he gets the opportunity to do so because substitute teacher comes in and starts forcing children to take home one of the class pets every night. So that's how he goes to get his opportunity. And then, of course, he ends up talking to the kids, giving them life advice. And it's pretty funny. So this is yet another movie, Ty, that I think is not meant for us.
For sure.
Very similar to his last film with his daughters. That one was definitely way more not for us. This one is a little more acceptable because it applies to everyone, not just young preteen girls. It is funny. There's some adult humor in there that probably some kids won't get, but it's there for the parents watching it or us 30-year-olds that just want to watch an animated Adam Sandler movie. So the whole stick is obviously his voice. There's some silly bits with that, and I know a lot of people find that annoying, and if you're one of them, you're gonna hate this movie. You're not gonna want to watch it because it is the entire time. Bill Burr is just Bill Burr, like as a turtle. He acts the same, just kind of like ass wipe. Same voice, doesn't even try to change it. But it is heartwarming, I'll call it, because I think it's one of those movies that's probably good for a younger person to see. These kids are in elementary school. They're about to graduate, quote unquote, graduate to go to middle school, and they all have their different insecurities. Mm-hmm. And so Leo's there to kind of, help them through it. Which, a lot of the things are good for kids to hear. The one that I did not expect was there's one girl who's like kind of dorky, and she just talks a ton, way too much. And obviously when she keeps talking, everyone kind of tunes out and stuff. And Leo gives the advice of like, hey, shut up. And like, it is pretty much on the nose like that, which is good advice. It's just harsh. And, sometimes you gotta be real with that. Mm-hmm. So what I will say, it felt a little long. It almost felt like some of it could have been cut out. It's only an hour 42. But the way the story progresses, it's all fine and dandy. Everyone's having a good time with Leo and everything. And then, of course, there has to be some sort of conflict.
Right.
And I won't say what that conflict is, but that conflict quickly gets resolved. And then they open another one. That gets resolved. There's another one. So there's like 3 conflicts busted in the final like half hour of the movie. Which was it wasn't horrible. It's just like, oh, okay, they figured it out. Everything's all good. Oh shit, something else.
Yeah, trying to do too much at the end there.
Again, I'm not trying to overanalyze a movie where Adam Sandler plays a fucking lizard.
Right.
but that's what happened.
Yeah.
And so overall, Ty, I don't think this is one that's exactly for us, but we're not the audience. But at the same time, it was not bad. I ended up giving it a 6 out of 10. And I think I am gonna try to convince you to watch it. It's silly, funny. Shit, forgot about this. Honestly, probably would have rated it maybe a little higher. It's kind of a musical.
That's just gonna ask you. I saw somebody reviewing it on TikTok. They said it's a musical. I didn't expect that one bit.
I did not either, because there's nothing in the trailer that indicates.
Yeah,
but yes,
not at all.
They just randomly sing. And sometimes it goes on way too long. So that's what I'm like, okay, enough of that. Honestly, if they had no singing, it would have been better, but it got a little annoying. I know Adam Sandler can sing. He's creative. That's great. That's fine. But it was it catches you off guard. Because if you're going into a movie and don't expect it to be a musical, you're like, what the hell is this? What am I watching? But overall, I think it's worth watching. It is short. It's on Netflix. Throw it on. Honestly, you don't have to pay too much attention to it. The plot is extremely simple, and just laugh at the stupid voice and Bill Burr being himself. You even get Rob Schneider as the principal and Jason Alexander George from Seinfeld as one of the parents.
That's awesome. Is it better than Bill Burr's newest movie on Netflix? Is it better than Old Dads?
I think, do I have them rated the same? I don't think I do. No, yeah. I have Old Dads at 5. I have this at a 6. So yes, I do think it is better. If I'm sticking to my ratings, which I'm pretty sure I am, I would rather watch this.
Sandler's making an animated movie about being a lizard better than Bill Burr can make a regular movie. That's awesome.
Hey, at least he's in this one too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch this one. As long as it's just the Sandler voice, a lizard, I'm sold.
The entire time, he's just that voice. It's fucking hilarious. I love it.
That rules.
It is the same amount of time. Leo is just 2 minutes shorter than Old Dads. And I think they both suffered from the same problem, where the conflicts, they're just kind of random. It's like they're there because they had to make something a conflict. But then they kind of end up being nothing. But it was more nothing in Old Dads because everything goes back to being the same. Whereas in Leo, the resolution actually changes things. So that's, I'm sticking to that. I think that's good. A 6 for Leo, a 5 for Old Dads.
Nice. Okay. I'm sold then. Yeah. Definitely was gonna watch this one. Definitely just gonna make the time to do it. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, easy thing to pop on, laugh.
Yeah, definitely.
But awesome, Ty. You got 2 here to review. I'm gonna let's leave Thanksgiving for last. You know, that's gonna be that's gonna be the turkey for the meal. That is. Spoiler alert. So let's hear about the new Hunger Games.
Yeah, so I'll start off by saying, are you a Hunger Games guy?
I am. So read all the books except this one. I have not read this one. I've read the books. I've seen all the movies. did like the when the final movie came out, there was a thing. I think it was at a Cinemark up in Erie. We bought the ticket that showed all of the movies and then the newest one.
That's really
we watched
cool.
them all in a row at the theater. It's pretty sweet.
That had to have been like a what? Damn near 10-hour extravaganza?
It was pretty damn long. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was broken up into 2 days.
Okay, I gotcha.
I think it was. You just had like an actual pass, like on a lanyard that was like, yep, I bought this. I was here. And then you went back. But yeah, so I was super into the Hunger Games.
Okay. I was never a huge Hunger Games guy. I did see the first 2, and I liked them, but I wasn't as big a fan, like, let's say, as you were. I didn't read the books, really. So, but going into that, though, this one definitely piqued my interest because it was like a prequel, like an origin story, so it didn't really matter if I was a big Hunger Games guy. So, quick synopsis on this one. Coriolanus Snow mentors and develops feelings for the female District 12 tribute during the 10th Hunger Games. So, yeah, it's the 10th Hunger Games, which... I would like to see one that's the first Hunger Games, like all the drama and all the shit leading up to the first Hunger Games. I think that'd probably be pretty cool. Anyway, this one is starring Tom Blythe, who I hadn't really ever heard of until this movie. Rachel Zegler, who was in West Side Story, like you said. She's going to be the next Snow White. Viola Davis, we know her, and Pete Dinklage. So it's currently got a 7.2 on IMDb. It's got a 65 on Rotten Tomato critic score and a 90% audience score on RT. So... that should really tell you the story of that right now. Critics, for whatever reason, don't seem to love this one, but I was actually surprised by this movie. I ended up liking it quite a bit. I will say the first 2 acts of the movie, it is split up into acts. Pretty much getting ready for the games and then the games itself, which those were the best parts of the movie for me, the stuff in the games. They always have been. But the last act does take it into like quite another direction, and it does start to kind of feel like it's dragging on a little bit. At one point, I looked at Tay and I was like, holy shit, like, she had to go to the bathroom or something like that. It's like, oh, it should be over soon, And then, like, 20 or 30 minutes went by, and she's like, oh my god, like, it's still going. I was like, oh yeah, like, so it did start to feel a little bit long. And, like, once the games got done, you think, okay, yeah, we must be wrapping up here. But there was, like, damn near maybe another hour at least of movie. And it does feel like kind of a completely different movie after that. It does make sense, though, the way the movie was going, given what we know about Snow in the other movies. But it took a while to get there. So all the performances in this movie were really good. Tom Blythe, and Ziegler both. I will say, though, Rachel Ziegler as Lucy Gray in the movie, she has, like, a completely, like, just a regular old Southern accent for whatever reason. And for me, it just kind of felt out of place. Like, she's just got, like, a regular old, like, modern-day country accent. She's like, and she sings songs, but she's got the accent. It's like, so much has happened in the world since whenever people would be talking like that, for her to still be talking like that in that world. So that just kind of was funny. There's definitely a bit of some fan servicey moments though, and they're like literally eye roll worthy. That even though I don't know a ton about the Hunger Games, I still kind of looked at Tay and like rolled my eyes. They'll be like, oh, that's blip, blip, and just start like name dropping stuff or whatever. So it was kind of like, oh, okay. But this, like I said, this one was set during the 10th Hunger Games, and that did make me want to see one leading up to the first games. I thought that'd be cool, because those are the best parts of the movies. But like I did say, I was surprised by how much I like this movie. Even though that third act kind of felt a little long, it keeps you entertained throughout the whole thing. And it is almost 3 hours long. It's like 2:37, so about 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, fans of the franchise will probably really like this, I'd have to imagine. Like, I think you'd probably really like it.
Okay.
Even though, like I said, I wasn't the biggest Hunger Games guy, and I really liked it. I'm going to go an 8 on it. So
wow,
more recently, I enjoyed it more than, like, the Marvels, let's say. Yeah, I really did like this movie quite a bit. I was thinking, like, high 7, maybe 8, and I ended up going with an 8 on it.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. It was cool. It was a good movie.
That was a bit unexpected. Because I was seeing similar ratings. I think it's like a low 7 right now, like 7.2 on IMDb.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna see it no matter what, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't need much convincing here, honestly, because I am a Hunger Games guy. I have not read this one, and I'm curious if I should or not before seeing it. After the whole what the hell, Children of Flower Moon debacle, I think I'm gonna watch the movie first.
Yeah, I would say watch the movie first for sure. I think that'll give you a better appreciation of it too.
And now you said she sang. Is she actually just randomly sing in this movie?
So I guess like her family in whatever in District 12, like they used to be traveling singers or whatever, and they landed on it. They somehow ended up in District 12 as like poor motherfuckers or whatever. So she sings. Yeah, that's her thing.
Interesting, because like District 12's whole thing was like they're like fucking minors.
Yeah.
So like, why are they singing?
Yeah, I can't remember how exactly they end up there, but that's where she's from. Okay. And whenever she gets nominated, she kind of breaks off into song. And at that moment, I was like, oh, that's cringy. And yeah, but it kind of makes sense though, given everything in the story. So it was cool. Yeah, I really liked this one. Tay liked it too.
It might have just been like hey, you were in West Side Story. You better sing. Just kind of like how they did with the other girl we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, man, 2.5 hours here. Is there? You said you saw the first 2 Hunger Games, which is really all you need to see. The Mockingjay was rough. But is there as much murder and death?
There's quite a bit of murder and death in this movie. Yeah, I would say so. The games are, like I said, probably the best part, just because that's always like, it's always fun to watch like the Hunger Games actually go down.
And okay, that was gonna be my next question. It's not just like events surrounding the game. There's the game actually goes on.
Yeah, it's like a lead up to the game, and then the games, and then shit happens after that too.
Gotcha. Interesting.
There's a lot of nods to like the movies and stuff. A lot of characters that are related to other characters, I think. Stuff like that people might pick up that I wouldn't know. Like Tay picked up that the one, I guess, Snow's cousin, this isn't really a spoiler, Snow's cousin in this movie is like the lady who does like the outfits and shit in the other movies. Because she kind of looks the same.
Gotcha.
Like the albino looking chick.
I was going to ask if, there was just like a random Everdeen or I forget Peta's last name, whatever the hell his name was.
There isn't any, they don't straight up name drop them like their last names or like that, but that's one of the fan servicey moments whenever they do drop a name from that, and you're like, oh, you'll have to watch it because you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah, you got to do that the right way. You can't just like randomly be like, oh, this is random person that's related the person everyone knows, and why are they here? I don't know, but here they are. Awesome. Yeah, I'm surprised he gave it an 8 because you said you weren't that big of a Hunger Games guy, but this ended up being good enough to get the go ahead.
Yeah, I was looking through my list and I was trying to compare it to stuff that I thought I was like about the same score on, and then I wanted to be a little bit. So like I was looking at my even order list, so I saw that like Birds of Prey I had in my list as an 8.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go at least an 8 on it because I like this better than Birds of Prey.
Awesome.
And then like more recently, like the Marvels, that was a 7.5, whatever. I like this a little bit better than Saw X, just because it had like more going on. Better than a Haunting Event, so stuff like that. It's above middle of the road, I'd say.
Yeah, and with our current rankings, I still got to see it, but it's currently sitting at 9. And it has the potential to be put in 3rd. That means I got to give it a 10. Ty, I don't know if I can do that. I've been pretty stingy with my 10. I don't have a single 10.
Yeah, same here. This year. Other than Oppenheimer, that was my only 10, I think.
Yeah.
Henry Sugar, I think I gave it a 10 as well.
Henry Sugar, yes. Henry Sugar and Oppenheimer. But yeah, that has potential. It should, at least remain pretty high up, maybe top 10.
Yeah, definitely check it out. I think you'd like it. I'm excited to see what you think about it. I wonder if we'll be close on it or if you end up liking it less or more than me.
Yeah. I'm curious as well. And funny enough, at the drive-in this week, it is a double feature of the Hunger Games and Thanksgiving. So I can see both of these movies.
That's actually quite a combo, dude. I think you'd have have a good night at the drive-in too.
Hell yeah. So
that leads me right into the next one.
Go into that. Yeah. Let's do it.
Hell yeah. So Thanksgiving. What a time. I mean, perfect. If you're going to have a movie about Thanksgiving, it's got to come out the week of or the week before Thanksgiving, and they nailed it. So, like we said, this one kind of almost started as a joke on the pod. I remember mentioning it. I was like, oh, there's a Thanksgiving-based horror movie coming out. It's based on a trailer from a Grindhouse movie. Kind of wrote it off at the time, thinking, how good could a Thanksgiving horror movie be? Turns out pretty fucking fun and good, in my opinion. So, like I said, going into this one, I saw a lot of positive reviews coming in, and I got more and more excited, especially after, like I said before, I heard Eli Roth talking about it on a podcast. Made me really excited to see it. So, quick synopsis here. After a Black Friday riot ends in tragedy, a mysterious Thanksgiving-inspired killer terrorizes Plymouth, Massachusetts, the birthplace of the infamous holiday. So this one starring Patrick Dempsey, Rick Hoffman, who we'll kind of know from Suits and Billions and Ballers and Hostel. I thought he looked really familiar. I think he must be an Eli Roth guy, because I think he's been in a few other of his things too. Then other than those two, there's a couple names here you'll recognize, like Addison Rae, the TikToker. She's got millions and millions of views and whatever on TikTok. And like we said before the pod, Tim Dillon, the comedian. Then there's also, it stars a few other people that I wasn't really familiar with. But this movie is so relatable just because, you know, it's Thanksgiving season and Black Friday and all that. But everything that happens in this movie is turned up to 100 for that Black Friday in Thanksgiving. And it's stuff that could actually happen, because you hear about stuff like that happening on the news sometimes, like Black Friday riot, like looting, all that stuff. So that's why this movie's more based in realism than a lot of more horror movies these days. So that was cool. This also, it keeps you guessing along the way, because the killer's wearing a mask, and you know me, I'm interested in a good whodunit. You're trying to wonder the whole time who is behind the mask. I had a couple guesses that were wrong. I thought it was going to be a couple different people, and they were all wrong. I mean, looking back, it's probably obvious, but I'm excited to see who you think it'll be. You'll probably be right. But yeah, so that's the best. Whenever it keeps you guessing, you're not sure. Also, a lot of brutal and unique kills that we always say that's what you want from a horror movie. You want to see something unique. You want it to be pretty brutal. This one is definitely both of those. It definitely earns its R rating. It's also got some pretty funny scenes too, especially Tim Dillon, you know, being a stand-up comic. He's got some pretty funny zingers. Before I'll leave out, I don't want to spoil anything that happens there. So yeah, honestly, this movie had no business being this good. I thought, why would a Thanksgiving movie be any good? But I loved it. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did, but I really did. Definitely worth a watch from horror fans or anyone looking to get into the holiday spirit. But it's definitely rewatchable too. I think I'd watch this one again in a heartbeat. And I think I'm going to go with a high 8 on this one, damn near a 9 on it. I think this one's definitely worthy of checking out. I think you'll like it. I think people that like horror will like it. And I think even if you don't really love horror movies, you'll like it too. Just a good movie. A surprise.
Yeah, a welcome one, because we haven't had a lot of that in horror movies lately. You know, it's been kind of...
Right, every horror movie's kind of been... I mean, Sonic was good. You know, like that was like a 7 or whatever. They've been good, but this one has been above the rest, I would say. Okay. I liked it almost as much as some of the top horror movies of the year, so... Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was going to say pretty hit and miss, but we've had a lot of misses, way more than hits in the horror realm. So you give this the same rating as... Which are you more happy to see? I'm definitely gonna go higher than Hunger Games on this. I'll go.
Damn. Okay.
So yeah. So this was like, I put 8.7. Hunger Games was a solid 8.0. So
gotcha.
I do like Thanksgiving more than Hunger Games. Both good movies. So that's why I think a weekend at the drive-in watching both of these is not a bad time at all.
Yeah, and it's interesting here. You know, a lot of the times segments that convince me to see these, we've had a lot of downers. You know, we've had a lot of movies that like, no, you shouldn't see this. We got 3 in a row this time around that we're saying go see.
Yeah. So yeah, three watches.
That's awesome. The so always horror movie questions I gotta ask. Is it does it do one of two things? Is it taking itself too serious and it doesn't, or is it trying to be too funny and serious at the same time and that doesn't work? Is it walk that line pretty well?
It's got a great middle ground there. Yeah, I think it doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's not trying to be too like goofy either.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty well based in reality.
you brought up the gore and the kills and everything.
Yeah.
We talking like Art the Clown style kills, or
There's some pretty brutal ones here, like heads getting cut off and stuff like that. But it's not. It's not rip your skin off and pour salt and vinegar on your body. like Art the Clown.
Maybe more like a Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Not recent ones like the OGs.
Yeah. Like
Gotcha.
I'm looking at the trailer on IMDb, and there is a buzzsaw. So yeah, I mean, it gets pretty brutal.
Awesome. Cool. I
Only
don't.
7 on IMDb as well. I'm not sure if I mentioned 7 on IMDb.
Okay. Yeah, this is a interesting one. I'm definitely going to see this. Whether or not I see both of them at the drive-in in one go is up for debate. But that would sound great to me. That sounds like a fun one.
Yeah, definitely. That would be quite a time. 2 kind of different movies, but both about some killing.
Yeah, both got some murder.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't want to dig into, I'm on the IMDb page and I don't want to like spoil anything for myself.
Right.
So,
yeah, I wouldn't go too deep into it just because like,
doing that.
what movie was it? I was like looking at it. Oh, yeah, it's Five Nights at Freddy's. I was like looking through all the pictures on IMDb, and it just spoils a bit of the movie. I was like, oh.
It's
So
like,
now we
hey,
definitely got to be careful on IMDb now that we know that there's
Matthew
just
Lillard,
open
it's the
spoilers.
fucking bad guy.
I was like, hey, he's got a suit on in this.
Yeah, what the fuck? That's such a horrible oversight.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
But all right, yeah, definitely gonna watch both of these. I probably see them both here within the next week, I would think.
Yeah, you might even be able to take a look at our old pal, the website. We won't say.
There's probably somewhere to see those. Who knows?
Yeah,
I don't.
I don't know either. I don't know shit.
Awesome. But Ty, that ends out this segment. I did want to give a quick recap of some of the other films I did watch this past week that are from this year. I'll just take like a couple minutes on each of them. So I watched Blue Beetle.
Oh, okay. It is on HBO now.
I don't recommend it.
Okay.
It's pretty bad. I gave it a 3 out of 10. It is very generic. The characters are extremely annoying, which makes them unlikable. So I don't care if they live or die. No one ever actually feels in any danger anyways. It's like they put on kid gloves for this. And then the CGI is so bad. Like the first time he takes like a fly around in like his suit or whatever the fuck it is, it just looks awful. Nothing looks good. It's like very obvious computer generated, and so that was not worth a watch. That wasn't great. Steer clear.
Steer clear. Okay.
The Creator, I know we talked about that one maybe a couple months ago at this point, but I did watch that one. That had a lot of potential.
I'm excited for that one. I was excited for that one, so I know that's getting kind of middle. So I'm excited to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, and that's pretty much where I am. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
It had a ton of potential.
It did.
Like the world scenario, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is like right up my alley. I love like different kind of futurism films. It feels like Fallout a little bit in the sense of like Fallout 4, that is, where like the AI stuff, you don't know who's human and who isn't. And essentially the story is everything's going to AI, everything's turning into AI, and for some reason AI fucking nuked California. And so the United States is like, we can't trust them, we need to kill all AI, and like they're trying to force other countries to not use it anymore, like, and China's just like, fuck you, like they always are. And so the whole thing is about finding this weapon that is being made in, I forget what they call it. It's like Indo-Asia or something like that. It's not China, but that's where they're at.
Okay.
And finding this weapon that can wipe out the big weapon that's being used to track down and kill these robots, AI, whatever they want to call them.
Okay.
So potential was definitely there. This was a movie where they did not skimp on like the art direction budget. It was really well done.
Nice.
the story just fell flat at the end. It was like, this dude can't make up his mind about who he wants to be. So 6 out of 10 on that one. Probably worth a watch.
Nice.
It was just, it could have been so much more.
Okay, definitely. That's what I've heard too.
And my final one here, this movie, I don't understand why it caused so much chaos in the world. A lot of trying to divide people, but The Sound of Freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you hear a lot about that movie when it first came out, and it's getting really high ratings. Like, I think when I first looked, it was getting like an 8 out of 10 on IMDb. And I'm like, holy shit, what is this movie? I never heard about it. And it's about stopping child trafficking, stuff like that. Supposedly based on a true story. I'm sure a lot of it is, you know, exaggerated like every movie is.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, it really like divided the left and the right here in America. For some reason, the right wings really loved it, and the left wings were like, "Oh, this is just patriot nationalism bullshit."
Yeah,
and I'm like, I mean, this is child trafficking. I don't really know what that has to do with that, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It still has a 7.7 on, and a 36 on Metacritic. So again, very divided.
They're definitely getting review bombed or something.
Exactly. Somewhere something's wrong. So I'm like, all right. And it's neither. It is not as like right wing as the left wants you to think it is. Not as bad as the left wants the right to think. It is just an okay movie, and it feels like two movies, which was my biggest with it. Like the very beginning, I won't lie, it's a little tough to watch. Thinking about, you know, this is real shit that happens, and they don't hold back a ton of punches, but I was expecting a lot worse. You know, when I saw people talking about this movie and like they couldn't watch it, you know, they cried, they're gut wrenching, and like it is, but I was expecting a lot worse. So, like I said, it feels like two movies in one. The first arc, honestly, if it would have stopped after that, this is probably a 7 out of 10. It's pretty good. And then the second arc was like they were trying to do the same thing, but to someone else and capture more, capture another child and save her. And it just felt rushed and out of place. Like the last arc is like the final 30, 40 minutes or so. Honestly, if they took that out, it would have been a lot better. So I ended up at a 5 out of 10. It's not great. Okay. I don't think it's one that's worth going out of your way to watch. They do have a super corny line, and I knew he was gonna fucking say it. And it was after they rescue all these kids, and all these kids are singing. I think they're singing Queen. They're singing like "We Will Rock You," and then the one dude's like, Do you hear that? You know what that is? And I'm like, please don't say it.
It's the sound of freedom, brother.
That's the sound of freedom.
Oh my god.
I was expecting it to go black, roll credits.
I would have turned it off right then and there.
Oh, it hurt. I'm like,
the singing of Queen was cringe enough. Then the name drop of the title, cringe.
And, you know what? I don't even think they were singing. It was just like the stomp, stomp, clap. That they do.
That's just as bad.
It was bad. I'm like, okay. And I knew he was gonna say it. I knew he was gonna fucking say it. Yeah, he did.
Gosh.
But yeah, it's a very mid movie. It's not as bad as the left wants you to think. It's not as good as the right one. I don't know why this is such a. It's about human trafficking. But whatever. People like to get political about everything. It's a 5 out of 10. It's not special.
Yeah, it ain't gonna blow anybody away.
No, it is not.
Gotcha. Good to know.
But that was it. Yeah, just wanted to throw those in there. I watched them, probably in the past 2 weeks, and we just they were already out for so long that it wasn't really worth bringing up in full. So I throw it in here.
I've got one for next week that I'm excited about. That's really
hell yeah.
If you've seen it on Letterboxd, I really liked it quite a bit. So
okay,
excited for The Holdovers.
Awesome. So that is where we will kick it off next week. Hopefully I see Thanksgiving and Hunger Games before then, but if not, we got The Holdovers and maybe Napoleon. You gonna check that one out?
Probably. I'm thinking about it. There's also some others I want to see too, like Saltburn.
Yeah.
So like that, I'll try to see that before we record again. But then the week even after next week, we got like Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
We got that other one we were just talking about. So yeah.
Awesome.
Could be a good couple weeks here coming up in movies.
I gotta start that Godzilla series too on Apple TV.
Yeah, me too.
That'll be good. Love me some Godzilla.
Hell yeah.
All right, that is where we will end it here, and we'll check everyone out next week.
Next week.